Hello, internet people. I'm hoping this works and this goes live on YouTube. Really hoping it does, because if not, I'm going to be talking to nobody. So let's see if this clicks on. Hopefully it will, and hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully you can see all the video, and all should be okay. I hope. Let's see. Let's see if anyone actually even tunes in. Who knows? So, yeah, Pokemon. It's not Vanguard, but it's a thing, and I'm playing it. And I don't know if you can hear me very well. I'm knocking the microphone. I don't know if this is showing up on the YouTube, like thingy mabob yet right now. Who knows? But yeah, we're going to do a bit of shiny hunting, as in egg hatching specifically. And yeah, hopefully you can see this and it's all flashing up. If not, then I don't know what's going on, because it should be working. Anyway, yeah, so basically just hatching eggs and stuff, so we'll see what happens. I'm hatching Hatene, hoping to get a shiny one of them. That's my kind of current goal. It's the current goal. So that's not a shiny. Hikabi Hero, hello. You can see just fine too. That is awesome, I'm glad. Hello, Hikabi Hero. So, yeah, Lena's down south at the moment. You probably caught her stream on Twitch. I think she might get another Twitch stream in at some point during this week while she is away down south. In the meantime, I'm here. I'm doing a bit of Pokemons, and I'm currently just breeding Hatene because thanks to Merlin and Eddie and Andreas, I managed to get the shiny charm today. So a shiny one of these would be super awesome. So it's good to have you along, if you are along. Obviously, it's not Vanguard content. We don't really have a lot going on for Vanguard ourselves. We were hoping to maybe get someone to open a pizza box, but those didn't even arrive for the latest set of the locals yet, so there's no Infinity Deity Cradle stuff to show you yet. I would quite like to get my hands on some Angel Feather, but at the same time I'm not like mega excited for it, because the support is kind of, it's not amazing, it's okay, but at the same time it's not going to make Angel Feather something which is super relevant in an Excel meta. So haven't been super enthused by it, and I certainly haven't got the money to start buying the cards anyway. So yeah, so I think at the moment we're going to be sticking to streams. It's going to be mostly Pokemon, maybe. I'll try and get some Vanguard streams as well. Currently uploading a video to the channel as well, which is 1 hour of the Vanguard battle music that we recorded for background videos. XL2 was definitely a mistake. So anyone who wants to use that battle theme in their videos as well can do so. Stick it in the background of the videos. Hopefully the video is quite easy to download. If you've got a video to audio converty websitey thingy, or you just want to put the music on your iPhone or whatever, make it your ringtone, whatever you fancy. This isn't going to be the most visually stimulating stream unless I decide to go and do something else while I'm sort of playing. I mean, I could do some wonder trading as well. I will always call it wonder trade, even though on this one it's surprise trade. But obviously there's no GTS on this game, so getting the actual shiny charm was a little bit more difficult than it had to be. It felt a little bit like going back to the Game Boy days of link cables and trying to like wangle stuff off your friends to try and get hold of, whereas the GTS you could just upload your starters that you'd bred and you'd basically get everything you needed just sent to you, which was nice. So yeah, we're sort of going round in circles a little bit literally here. I mean, I could drive all the way to the left and all the way to the right and speed the bike up, but this is a little bit easier, and I can just keep my eye on her for when she crosses her arms, basically. When she crosses her arms, that means she's got an egg. And Hikari, you're playing EX in the background of the stream. That's a good idea. I've got to say, I haven't played EX for a while. As part of this stream, I may actually load up EX at some point and just have a quick game and see how I get on with it. Since it is just installed to the system, it's not like I have to stand up or anything to change the cartridge. It's nice to know that EX will always be there, just sitting on the hard drive, so like, or the SD card, I suppose. So if ever I do fancy playing Vanguard on here, it's easy to do so. I haven't really felt much of an urge to play it lately. I've seen people pop up playing it on the friends list, so it's good to know that some people still play it. I just really wish that it did get the updated sets as they came out. I know they'll never do it, but it would make such a big difference to its kind of like appeal to know that I could play my new Angel Feather support without having to buy it in real life. It would be very nice. You missed getting a Gigantamax Centiskorch in a max raid. Yeah, I took part in a Charizard one. It was the max Gigantamax Charizard. Even though I'll get one off what's-his-face Leon anyway. It was a bit frustrating for that one to get away, because that might have had better stats. Who knows? Still, sometimes they just get out. Like, you're not going to waste a Master Ball on it, and I don't think there's much better for raids than an Ultra Ball. To be honest, I think it would have been nice if they'd have introduced a Raid Ball, or like a Max Ball or something, which works only in raids, and has a really high capture rate for raids, but is pretty rubbish anywhere outside of raids. That might have been a nice little kind of thing for them to put in. If you want the game audio turning up, let me know. I don't know how the balance is for like game audio and me audio, but hopefully the balance is okay and you can hear a little bit of the music in the background. I can turn it up if necessary. Received an egg from the nursery worker. So it's nice that you don't have to like keep going into the building, because obviously in the early days of breeding you were constantly going in and out, going into your boxes, shuffling the eggs around, and it took forever. Now you just literally take an egg to replace the one that's hatched in the party. They tend to hatch and lay eggs at about the same sort of rate, so you always have a few eggs and a few hatching at the same sort of time. The audio is fine. Cool. Thanks for everyone who's tuned in already. I'll say everyone. It looks like there's about 5 of you, which is cool, considering this is an unexpected stream that kind of just came out of nowhere. Yeah, so apologies for the lack of actual draw the trigger content at the moment. It's just slow. We haven't got our hands on the new trial deck either. We do want to get hold of the Genesis trial deck and do a trial deck face-off video with that. That is a plan as well. Next time I am in town, I will pop into the shop and see if they've got the things in. Hopefully they will have received some of those. That's not a shiny. The shiny version of this is basically the same, but even more pink. If that's possible. I think the blue becomes pink as well. There's no eggs in the boxes, so there's no point going into my menu right now. Let's get a Wonder Trade going as well. Let's just connect this onto the internet. It's nice to have some like surprise trades going now and then, just so you can kind of get a bit of a change of scenery, and all these things which I'm hatching, they might as well go to a good home. So let's start there. How many have we done today? Nearly a box worth today, so that's nearly 30. So that's what I've been doing since I got the shiny charm. So we'll see if anything interesting turns up. I mean, there's nothing left that I need, but if anything cool does turn up, then that's cool, I guess. So, has anyone else been playing Pokemon at all, or are you one of the ones who chose not to buy it? I totally understand the people who choose not to get it because of the whole thing. I mean, I've put a lot of hours into it, and I've enjoyed it. But I am a little bit salty about the Pokemon being cut. I've got to say, there's a lot of my favourites which haven't made it in. I do think it's disappointing that, considering that when they announced the Pokemon Bank, they said it was going to be a way to bring all your Pokemon forward. And that really should have been added onto the Switch very early on, at least around the time that Pokemon Let's Go came out. I think the bank should have come out. Let's see what we got on this trade. I know we've got Pokemon Home on the way, but this is the kind of thing, that infrastructure should have been planned and put up in front as well, I think. It is disappointing that I can't bring like my existing shinies over, for example. I'm a little bit annoyed about that. They might end up doing that in the kind of Ultra Sword, Ultra Shield ones, which will inevitably get released next year while they delay the Hoenn remakes. Is it Hoenn? No, Sinnoh, isn't it, next? So, yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. I really hope they bring the GTS back as well for the next games, because the trading on this is hopeless. Unless you're literally talking to the person you're trading to, you've got no chance of communicating with them. It hasn't even got like the ability to do the smiley faces. I've both haven't played Sword yet, like them as it is. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's fun. It's absolutely a fun game, because Pokemon, at its core, is a fun experience. Like the battling, the raids I think are really fun. I do like the raids. I think the atmosphere in the game at times is really good as well, particularly the gym leader and champion fights and stuff. I like the way the crowd gets into it, and the fact that you're in front of an audience. I was saying this to Eddie earlier. The fact that you are like fighting in front of a huge crowd full of people, it feels like how the anime used to handle the Pokemon League, where Ash would go against his rivals and stuff in front of everybody, and they'd kind of have this awesome atmosphere of being... It was an event, it wasn't just like fighting some Elite Four behind the scenes and whatever. I think it's really nice that they have that sort of real kind of event that everyone's watching and everyone gets excited for, and you have sponsors. I think that suits the Pokemon kind of setting, and I like that feel, and it does fit the kind of very British thing as well, with the what do you call it, like the football atmosphere and all that sort of thing. So it kind of really does add to the atmosphere of the game, particularly when the Gigantamax comes out and they start chanting along. I think that is really cool. I like some of the gyms as well. I liked the water gym. I quite liked the sheep herding. That was fun. I think the only one I didn't really enjoy was the one where you have to like use like the item finder type of thing in front of you, but you're kind of finding the holes to walk around. I got a little bit bored of that halfway through and ended up just charging through it and just kind of like once you've fallen down a hole, the hole stays on the screen, so you can just sort of walk around it next time. I just found that a little bit less annoying to do in the end, rather than walking slowly, because I was using the wired controller, and that doesn't have rumble, so I didn't have that kind of force feedback telling me where the holes were, and it was only visual, and it was just getting really, pain in the bum. It had one section too many, that kind of like section where the visibility goes at the end. Too much. That's too much. I mean, I suppose in some respects it might have been nice if it actually was an item finder, and that you had to like find in the sand a key to open the door to the next section, rather than avoiding holes, which was a bit annoying. If it was kind of like find the hidden key under the sand / ice, then it could be a pretty cool sort of way of handling it. I'm hoping my little overlay that I've put on isn't too far in the way of the screen. It's kind of just overlaying over the online notifications, so... But I took a little screenshot of my avatar as she was in the clothes shop. I thought that was quite cool to kind of just use that as a little overlay as well. Lena hasn't actually played Pokemon Sword or Shield yet because she went away the day after we got it, pretty much. So she's going to play it when she gets back, and she'll be streaming it, obviously. She obviously needs to carry on streaming Dragon Quest. My avatar is very cute, thank you. Yeah, Lena needs to continue her Dragon Quest stream because those are fun. I really like Dragon Quest. If I had to recommend Pokemon or Dragon Quest and someone had to choose, I would absolutely suggest get Dragon Quest as the priority. Personally. Although I suppose it depends on the age group and what they want out of a game as well. Also, on a streaming note, I've decided that personally, I'm not going to use webcam when I stream. I'm not particularly happy with the webcam on my face myself. I know Lena likes it and she has her like multicam setup here, but for me personally, I'm not really comfortable in front of a camera. I don't mind the audio, I can talk, but I don't like seeing myself on camera. I don't like how I look, and I don't think the camera does me any favours either, so yeah, it's audio only from me, which is the main reason I stuck my avatar on the screen as well. So I have no idea how many of these I've hatched all together. Obviously today I've done like 30 something. I have been doing these as well until, rather before I got the shiny charm, I'd been hatching a few of these and had no luck. So it might be that I've actually done about 100 of these eggs already. Dragon Quest is definitely more for the hardcore fans, or the ones who want a deeper storyline based RPG. If you play Pokemon for the story, you're probably doing it wrong, to be honest, because it's not. It's really kind of primary school level storyline stuff. It's not going to tax your brain at all or make you think. Not going to make you reevaluate anything. I suppose if this game wanted to really kind of level itself up a bit for storyline, they'd kind of put a bit more emphasis on the whole kind of climate change aspect, which it's sort of got going on. It does sort of have that as an undercurrent, but it doesn't explicitly like go out and say it so much. It keeps it very kind of family friendly and non-controversial, shall we say. Although there are little hints, things like the Corsola, the coral reef, having been like died out, which is interesting. The story is cute, I guess, yeah. I just feel like half of the story happens to someone else. Like, Hop's got a storyline because he's in his brother's shadow and he wants to kind of be seen as an equal, I guess. Leon has his own storyline because he's already the champion and he's the one who does all the cool stuff off camera while we're like walking around catching Pokemon. And by the time we get to where we're going, he's already done the things. He's already taken care of the Gigantamax monsters, and it's like, oh, did you see the thing that happened? And it's like, no, I didn't see it. Leon did it all. Maybe if you played as Leon, maybe you'd have a bit more storyline. Have I got a Hetany? Yeah, I've got a team full of them right now. Okay. Let's get another Wonder Trade going. Why not? Let's send another one of these out. These boxes are completely out of order right now. I've got my main sort of living dex boxes, and the rest I had originally labelled up by type, but then that kind of fell apart, especially when it kind of stopped at a certain number of boxes, and I realised it wasn't going to be enough for what I wanted. It wasn't enough to have like 10 boxes set aside for eggs, plus my living dex, plus whatever. It didn't give me enough boxes for that, as far as I could tell. I tried putting like a few Pokemon in each box and it didn't really expand it beyond a certain point, so yeah, otherwise I'd have like a box for each type, at least one box for each type, and then the living dex, and then some spare ones just for whatevers and for eggs and stuff. Basically, what I want is a Pokemon game where you've got about 100 boxes. That would be nice. Give me loads and loads of room. Not even the main character of your own life. Tell me about it. It's very, very relatable. It's a Snom. Cute little mothy, caterpillar-y, whatever you'd call it, larva, I guess. That's quite cute. It's kind of like the it's an ice equivalent of that other moth from Black and White, the fiery moth. What was that called? Volcarona. It's kind of like the equivalent of Volcarona. Is Volcarona a legendary? I don't think it technically is, because you can breed it, can't you? It was just hidden away as if it was one. This game doesn't have any kind of hidden legendaries. Unless there's something which like unlocks as a DLC or an event or whatever, but it would be nice if there was a little bit more in the way of hidden content and stuff, secret caves or whatever on the wild area. A bit more Breath of the Wild like, perhaps, where there's things to discover and puzzles on the map. But probably asking too much for a Game Freak, really. They need to hire more staff. Nintendo needs to kind of say, look, this is our biggest franchise, here's some money, here's some staff. Push yourselves a little bit. Do better, lads. Gotta catch the eggs. Yeah. Oh my god, that's not a shiny. One of the good things is that if you do get a shiny from an egg, it makes it pretty obvious to you. It still kind of does the shiny sparkles and stuff and the sound effect. That's something that I don't think happened on any other Pokemon game before this one, so it's pretty nice that it draws your attention to it, because on a lot of Pokemon the shinies aren't very different to the regular colours. On Sun and Moon I was shiny hunting like this for what's the first stage of Electros? Is it Timpole or something? Whatever it is. The early stage of Electros, the shiny for its first stage, you really can't tell the difference easily. You get a higher shiny catch if you have a Ditto in another language. Yes, I'm doing the Masuda method. My Ditto is Japanese, and the Hatena, which I'm breeding, is one I caught on this particular game. So I've got the shiny charm and I'm doing Masuda method, so the shiny odds should be as good as they get for doing this. Now it's funny because back on Ultra Sun or Ultra Moon, whichever one of those two I had, I started breeding stuff before I had the shiny charm and before I had a foreign Ditto. Dynamo, that's the one. Yeah, I started breeding stuff before I'd done any, before I had the shiny farm and before I'd done whatever. And my first egg on that entire game was a shiny Delmise, or Delmise, however you want to pronounce it. That was my first egg, and it was shiny straight away, and I could not believe it. It was amazing. I don't know why I was breeding that particular Pokemon. I think maybe I was just testing to see how the eggs worked or something on that game or whatever, but yeah, that was pretty amazing. I've got quite a lot of shinies on my actual living decks. I say a lot, not like Laura Kate Dale levels of lots. I've got like, what, 20 or so. Most of them I think came from X and Y on the Friend Safari. I really liked the Friend Safari. That was a wonderful little thing. Why can't we have Friend Safari back? Why didn't they bring that over? They never bring the good stuff over from other games. It's always like, here's the thing, you'll never see this again. All those little things that kind of flesh it out. What if the wild area had secret bases? Or something like that, you know? That'd be super cool. The wild area is the perfect kind of place to add a secret base system in or something like that, and find your friends' bases and that sort of thing. Wouldn't that be cute? I'm going to call it, this will be a shiny. This is the one, I'm feeling it. Feeling it. told you, it's not shiny. It's a funny little derp. I find the middle stage of this Pokemon is actually my favourite one, where it's sort of like floating, but it's got its hair lifting it up off the ground. I think that's really cute. Never got into breeding or competitive battle. Liked Pokemon contests. I never did Pokemon contests. It never got me. Never really got me. I don't do competitive either. I've never bred for like IVs and stats and all that sort of business. I was always just like complete the Pokedex, then do a bit of shiny hunting, see if I get anything basically. I didn't get any shinies for ages. My first one was in Emerald, which was a shiny Swallow, and then there wasn't another one. I don't think I got another one until Black and White, and I was breeding for a shiny Shinx in Black too, and then I finally got one. But I'd done a lot of breeding in the other games before that, and I just never seemed to get one. Oh yeah, that's the problem. If it had been in kind of that generation on the Game Boy Color anyway, even if you didn't know what it was, there's no way you'd be able to sort of bring it over anyway, because that was the last time they didn't let you bring them over, isn't it? And then Advance was like a fresh start. They were quite like revolutionary back in the Advance days, pushing the boundaries a little bit. Like the Pokemon games that came with the Wi-Fi adapter. That was not Heart Gold, Leaf Green, Fire Red. They came with the wireless adapter built in, to packed in the box. That was really cool. Play the story over and over. To be honest, when it gets to a point when the Pokemon Home comes out, I would be very tempted to transfer my entire living dex into Pokemon Home, then start a new game on this and go through it again, but give myself that living dex right away. You know, so it's like I'm starting pretty much with the living dex as soon as it lets you. That would be pretty fun. Get the shiny charm. Oh, you can't get the shiny charm for ages though, because the town is quite a way into the game where you get it. So you'd kind of have the completed Pokedex, but not the charm for ages. You could get the charm quite quickly on Sun and Moon. I think it was like the third town maybe, or fourth. Probably the third town. So on Ultra, I just brought everything over, and I basically had the shiny charm straight away. That was cool. There was just that one extra legendary event one. I can't remember the name of it. I didn't put it in my party, did I? What's his name? That extra legendary they added. There was obviously the new Ultra Beasts, which I managed to get. But I had to get a friend to get me one of the... oh, it's like a yellow cat thing, electric type, perhaps. Can't remember its name, because it kind of went into a box and then never really got used. And you can't bring it over to this game. I wonder where Meltan and Melmetal actually fit into the national decks, because do they technically come in between the last Pokemon on Sun and Moon and the first Pokemon from this one? Or would they go into the national decks under a different region that hasn't come out yet? Will they be native to the next new region? Little surprised that Meltans aren't in this game, to be honest. A little bit surprised. Okay, that's a box for the computer, an egg for the computer there. Zeraora, yes, see, I'd never remember that. I was thinking like Zoroark. Doublade raid. Cool. Is it Doublade or Doublade? I always said Doublade. Because it's like a double blade, isn't it? Oh, there's 2 eggs in a row. I probably won't be doing this for much longer tonight. It was kind of like to get a bit of activity on the channel. But what is it? 1:45, 22:11, something like that. I mean, I might end up going to midnight. Depends if you people want me to stick around or not. I'm not going to go anywhere beyond midnight because I need sleep. I need to start assembling some more Warhammer tomorrow for a commission. I like the Doublade and Hone Edge and Aegislash. I think they're all really cool. They fit this region quite nicely. The whole sword and shield thing. I'm amazed they didn't put the Stoutland line in this game, because that's a very kind of Scottish Pokemon. You'd have thought that would have been perfect for this region. I know there's technically already a dog in here, which you've got your Yamper and stuff, but some of the choices are surprising. Like, we've got the Vulture, but I've never seen a Vulture in the UK. But you could probably get away with Pidgey. Maybe they're just bored of Pidgeys, I don't know. There seems to be quite a lot of black and white Pokemon in this one. Although black and white, I think, introduced like 250 new Pokemon at a time or something. Defense lower and attack more stat on it. I mean, when I do raids now, unless it's like a fairy type or something, I'll just use Eternatus or... Is it Eternatus? That guy. I'll just use him for 99% of my raids now, because he just spammed the Dynamax beam and smashes through most things pretty easily. It's pretty funny. Okay, we got quite a few of these now. Let's do another surprise trade. Send one out. I don't know if anyone particularly needs these. I don't know how hard they are to come by. Maybe someone early on in the game will enjoy them. I should imagine that pretty much every day he's got hundreds and thousands of new players who've got the game that day. This will keep selling for ages now. Here's another one. Another non-shiny. Yep. I like Applin, yeah. The apple pie version's fun, and the flying flappy apple is just hilarious. It's cute. A lot of the designs, when I first saw them, I wasn't keen. And most of them have grown on me. Oh, it's the Ponyta. I loved the Ponyta as soon as I saw it. It's so cute. I think the only one I'm still not particularly fond of is Impidimp and its evolutions. I really don't think much of Grimmsnarl. I don't think it looks great. The rest I'm pretty much okay with. I'm not sure about the Mr. Mime, but then I never liked Mr. Mime in the first place. I don't mind Mr. Rhyme, weirdly. I don't know, I guess it just looks a little bit less creepy than the others. We don't like the fossils. Yeah, I'd forgotten about the fossils. They're a little bit of a fustercluck, but I mean, they are what they are, I guess. I mean, they're different. I guess it's not just another dinosaur, which is probably a good thing. I mean, there's probably only so far they can go with the actual sort of realistic dinosaur-y designs. They're gonna really start to struggle for a lot of the kind of stuff for the future games. I think, what, this game introduces roughly 100 new ones. Does that include the Gigantamax forms? There's a reasonable amount of new stuff. That's a Rapidash one, I think, isn't it? wonder if that'd be a shiny if I joined into it. Can I join it? It's really hard to get into raids. This always happens. No communication partner was found. It's like, well, they're right there, aren't they? I don't know. Bloody hell. Would have preferred just another dinosaur. That's fair. Let's send out a Pichu. This one's got amazing stats. Someone will enjoy that. Yeah, it's a little bit too difficult to get into other people's raids. It doesn't update the stamps fast enough, I don't think, a lot of the time. Like, considering how many people must be playing this game at any given moment, the same stamp sort of sits on the screen for absolutely ages. And I'm sure by the time you see it, the raid's already probably finished half the time. Be nice if that could be a little bit more up to date. It needs a little refresh function other than the one where you press X and nothing happens. To be honest, the online just needs a complete rejig. This is the kind of game that would benefit from some hefty patches, to be honest, or game updates. I don't normally like updates. I think it's not good to obviously ship an incomplete game and say, oh, we'll fix it later. But there's certain things on this game which I would absolutely fix, and the online, in pretty much every respect, is one of them. I'm happy with the league card swapping, that's fine, and the wonder trading's fine. I like that you can just send it off and wait for the thing to come in rather than sitting looking at waiting to find you a trade partner screen like it did on the old wonder trade. I wonder if that Ditto is from another place. Probably not, because its name's in English. I like the Japanese name for Ditto, Metamon. I like that. That's a cool name. Is there a way to find out how many of a certain Pokemon you've, like, bred and hatched? Or does it only tell you how many you've battled? It'd be kind of nice to know how many eggs you'd hatched for a given Pokemon. That's the kind of stat it should probably give you. I don't know how people keep track, whether they have like a clicker app or something where they kind of just count the eggs. Because people always say like, oh, I did this one in like 632 eggs. It's like, have you been counting? I don't count. I can't count that high. I can only count to 10. I never learned to go beyond 10. Sesame Street was too high level for me. Couldn't keep up. The league cards are super cool. I've had a lot of fun redesigning my league card and the poses and the faces and stuff. The league card thing plus the trainer customization, I think, is one of my favourite things about this game. I'm so happy that you can still customise your trainer's hairstyle and makeup and outfits. Definitely one of my favourite things they've put into the Pokemon franchise lately. I'd be very disappointed if that ever went in the way of the Dodo. As long as that sticks around, I'm happy. I'd like a few more hairstyles on this one. I think Sun and Moon probably had, if not a few more, it felt like more. Oops, I missed. Obviously, my Sandy Scorch has got flame body to speed up the hatching process. I don't know how much of a difference flame body makes, but if it makes any difference, it's worth having. It would be kind of nice if the league cards went into an actual album. I know you can look at the album, but it'd be nice if it was like a card binder where you could flip through the pages and like look at them all laid out with the foil and stuff. I think that'd be really neat if you could do that. Just the little touches, you know, that would kind of make things a little bit fun. Some of the faces you can pull are really funny. Oh, his little clown hat. It starts out quite clowny and then it becomes really witchy. I really like Centiscorch. When I first saw its unevolved form, I was like, that just looks like a piece of bacon. That's hilarious. And then it evolved, and I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. And then I saw the Gigantamax variant, and I was like, that's actually really badass. It's like freaking Shenron from Dragon Ball. It's so cool. Had a hard time finding hair you like for male trainers. Usually just change the colour. Yeah, I like that you can have really bright colours like the red and the blue and the green on this game. That's really cool. I don't know if you could... Well, you probably could do it on Sun and Moon, but it's very cool that you can have the bright colours. My avatar on Shield looks very different to the one on this game. This one, I tried to make it look closer to me, whereas the one on that game is a little bit more punky. It's like blue pigtails, and the outfits are something which I wouldn't wear. So, well, I might do, but yeah. It's a shame you have to wear the goofy clothes when you're on the bike, but I guess they didn't want to have to worry about how to make skirts work while you're on a bike. Because animating is hard, apparently. Well, I'm sure it is, but... yeah. At this point in the game, I've turned it off in the menu where it asks you if you want to nickname your Pokemon. You may have noticed that. One of your all-time favourites is Beautifly. I've always had a soft spot for Scyther and Scissor. Those have always been amongst my favourites. There probably are other bug types which I really like. Heracross was fun. I liked the Heracross in the anime as well. Yeah, a lot of the bugs are pretty cool. They just often aren't very good. They're nice if you're taking on like a psychic gym or something, but yeah, they tend to be a little bit underpowered. I like Orbeetle on this one, actually. That's a really nice little design. I like it a lot better than something like Cutiefly, let's put it that way. Thinking about it, I wouldn't be surprised if they just ported Sun and Moon in HD to the Switch as a filler thing. It would probably port really easily, just res the textures up a little bit, improve the character models slightly. They could release like a port of that next year if they wanted to, and give themselves an extra year to work on the next game. They definitely need to have more time in development to really flesh the games out. Yeah, Orbeetle isn't what it looks like it's going to become. I guess it still kind of fits because they're sort of like ladybirds, but it goes from that kind of little square. I guess what it is, it's because it's like a satellite, isn't it? And that's why it's Orbeetle. It's like orbital, and then the middle stage kind of looks like a lunar lander or something, in that kind of funny hexagonal shapey way, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, I'm assuming it's like a space satellite, and that's the theme of it. That's what I was getting out of it anyway. And then I guess the fully evolved version is like, what is it based? Does it look something like Sputnik? What does Sputnik look like? Oh, there's an egg there now. Let's get that. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's similar to like a Sputnik sort of look. Spindly arms and legs coming off a round top. Maybe it's based off that sort of thing. Butterfly moth. Again, yeah, bug type. I was saying earlier, Volcarona. I always liked Volcarona. That was a very cool one. Then you had Beautifly and Dustox. Butterfree was one of those ones you really wanted to be good, but it didn't hold up far into the game. Same with Beedrill. Beedrill was super weak, and it's a real shame because it looked so cool. Oh, a Corsola, nice. I was going to see if I had one of those with the secret ability. Let's get another egg off her. I saw an advert earlier for people in the UK. McDonald's are bringing out the Minty Matchmakers McFlurry for Christmas again. That's got to be delicious. I love minty ice cream. Minty chocolatey ice cream is my favourite. I know that's a little bit off topic to what we've been talking about. Bit out of the blue there, but love it. Where's that shiny? Can I have shiny now? Please. Shiny, please. Okay, thanks, bye. There's a shiny on the Wonder Trade. Not a fan of mint ice cream. Oh. Someone's going to send me a shiny Hydreigon. Nope, it's a snake. It's a cute snake. That's one that's grown on me as well. I wasn't keen on it at first, but it has sort of grown on me a little bit. I think it is quite cute. Silly Cobra. It has managed to grow on me a little bit. I was a little surprised that this game only has like the 3 legendaries, because a lot of the previous games feel like they've had absolutely tons of legendaries, almost too many. I remember when Gen 4 came along and it was just like legendaries for days. There were so many legendaries in that game, and then I think Black and White had quite a few as well. It felt like they were really kind of overdoing it with legendary Pokemon for a while there. Whereas this is probably the fewest amount ever, I guess, for a mainline game. Even kind of the original games had Mewtwo, then there was the legendary birds, and Mew as a bonus one. I don't think any other mainline games only had 3. Yeah, I wonder if we'll end up going back to Johto one day. Oh no. I know we had the Heart Gold, Soul Silver remakes on DS. Those are, in my opinion, some of the best games in the series. I think between those and Black 2 and White 2, I think those are my favourite ones in the entire Pokemon series. Legends definitely stopped being special. It just felt like there was too many of them. One of the things I like about this game is the legendaries don't Dynamax. I think that's a nice way to sort of add a little bit of balance to them. You can make them a bit stronger, but by not letting them Dynamax, deliberately sort of holding them back a little bit, I think it means that people are more inclined to use normal Pokemon. And I hope that's something which it's sort of designed to do. And so yes, you can run a team of legendaries, but you won't have the benefits of the Dynamax if that's what you were hoping for. Then again, they might introduce a Pokemon that's crap as a normal legendary, but when it Dynamaxes, then it becomes good. Who knows? Not that we'll ever see Dynamax again once we've left Galar. At most, you might see it in the Sinnoh remakes, but you definitely won't see it in, like, Generation 9. Considering they were saying, even in this game, that it's something about Galar's power spots that allows Dynamax to exist, it's very specifically locking it to the region. Who wants a Hatenna? At this point, I'm always starting to think I'll swap it for something else and have a break and breed for Ponytail or something, maybe. Who knows? Sometimes it's nice to change up what you're breeding rather than sticking to one Pokemon for ages and ages. I don't think it particularly affects the odds to swap them out. Be almost nice if breeding did a similar thing to chaining, like the more you do, the higher the chances of breeding a shiny. I mean, they know people are going to do it, so maybe make life slightly easier on the people who want to breed. I mean, I guess if you do just a couple of hours of it a day here and there, eventually you will get the shiny you want, but sometimes it's a bit boring. Petting Pokemon, yeah, I mean, this game lets you sort of play with them a bit in the camp. I don't know how far that extends. I haven't actually done anything other than the cooking in the camps. I wonder how many I've caught. I know this hasn't actually updated properly yet, but that was at 594 caught, and yeah, it needs to update that because it still says 395 Pokemon, even though I've finished the dex. I might pop over to a Pokemon Center in a bit, just get that updated. One of the other things I miss is one of the things they added in Black and White with the seasons. I really liked the whole seasons thing where it kind of encourages you to go back to the earlier areas which you've been to before, see what Pokemon come out at different times of year. I thought that was a really, really cool feature, and obviously you had things like Deerling which changed depending upon what season it was as well. That's a shame that we haven't seen that again. Every region had its own cool little things that you look back on and think, I wish it still did that, and I wish it still did this. I guess it's partly because they don't want to kind of paint themselves into a corner. Like, if you think about Smash Brothers Ultimate, for example, they have made the ultimate Smash Brothers game. They've brought in so many different, like, franchises and secret characters and unexpected faces into that game, and now that's going to be almost impossible to top it. Like, how do you top Ultimate? Can you ever really top what it's done in terms of bringing stuff in and references and sheer level of content? Maybe Game Freak is a little bit afraid of doing that and making a Pokemon game that features all of the things people liked from previous generations, because if they do that, you know, we're going to expect ridiculous things as each game gets more and more complex with all of the things that we like. I can understand why things do have to make a cut in that regard. Tempers our expectations a little bit, where the next game comes out and we're like, oh, I bet it won't have this and I bet it won't have that. Just enjoy it for what it is. even though I do mourn some of the features. Alright, let's send another Hatternet out. Got quite a few of them now. It's nice to see people sending out the starters and like the version exclusives. I should probably breed something that's a little bit harder to get hold of next, when a shiny does eventually turn up. What would be a good thing to breed? What do I like the shiny of that people might appreciate being sent out? What's hard to find? Maybe one of the things that's tied to the weather. I could do Jangmo-o, if that's how you pronounce it. Yangmo-o, Jangmo-o. That's quite hard to get hold of, and it is version exclusive, so that might be a cool one to breed. Black and White, those games kept me going back so much. I played those solidly until X and Y came out. I was still playing them like the day before X and Y came. I just kept playing them. I really, really liked it. And I was shiny hunting, but just everything about those games, I thought there was so much to them. There was so much in there. They were really, really cool. I think Black 2 was probably my favourite one in the series overall, if I had to like really pin it down. Heart Gold, a very close second. I wonder what I'd put into third place. Third favourite. Don't know. Don't know what my third favourite would be. Maybe Emerald. Emerald had a lot of bonus content in it. Be kind of nice if they put Gale of Darkness and Pokemon Colosseum on the Switch as well. Those would be pretty nice to have in HD. They don't emulate particularly well sometimes, I don't think. But if they introduce them in HD on the Switch and added in like the functionality to put your stuff into the Pokemon Home again. Those are the kind of games where you'd expect a reduced Pokédex. Heart Gold, Soul Silver were basically flawless. They really were. They were so good. So good. They felt really special when you were playing them. The way the Pokemon followed you around, just the regions are great. To have both Kanto and Johto and so fleshed out and reimagined nicely. I basically cannot fault Heart Gold, Soul Silver. There's nothing in them at the time that I would have wanted them to add. Did I have a space in my party like another egg? No, that egg can go into a box then. But yeah, I don't think we'll ever get like a Pokemon Complete or Pokemon Ultimate where it has everything in it. Where they introduce like all the stuff from the old games like Secret Bases and everything else that people liked. You'll never get a game that's got everything just because it's so much now. And they would never be able to top it. Whatever they did would feel very cut down afterwards. In some respects, I can see why they've done this as the first of the generation. They've kept it simple. They've kind of introduced the wild area as a nice concept. I would definitely like to see them expand on the wild area. You know, I mean, if the wild area was a little bit more fleshed out, a bit bigger, and it was more like a hub where you had all the other areas springing off it, and make it so the gyms in the towns scale depending on how many badges you've got and that you can actually tackle them in any order. Give it that sort of feel. Then that could be a really special sort of thing. expanding on the kind of the raids as well. That'd be pretty neat. All they have to do is just make it so like more things appear in the wild area the more badges you've got. Have the new weather things turn up where it unlocks extra Pokemon. There's ways they could handle the scaling and make it work. Sort out the frame rate when you're online, because it gets pretty abysmal at times. My throat's going really sore. Get a bit tired. We're about an hour in. The thing is, literally any one egg can be the shiny. It's not likely to be, but it could be this one, it could be 100 down the line. I didn't mind running into high level Pokemon, it was okay, you could run around them for the most part. It's quite easy to get around the wild area without, you know, getting into many fights. If you're patient, you can probably avoid all the fights. I've noticed if you hug a wall when you're in a patch of grass, you generally won't get any fights in that patch. One thing I would like to see on the wild area is just a little bit of a mini-map in the corner of the screen, just so you can see whereabouts you are. Sometimes I get a little bit turned around in the thick fog. If I've gone into a fight or I've like stopped to fight something particular, and then I'll be like, which way am I facing again? And I'll end up sort of going back the way I came, and that's a bit annoying. Be nice if they had that mini map there. Maybe mark the dens on the map as well. Yeah, I'd have it so there was a map of the wild area on the screen, shows the dens on it, and when you've fought a certain Pokemon in that den, you can then click on that den and see what you've already fought, like been against in that den. So it doesn't tell you everything that might show up in there, perhaps, but once you know a certain Pokemon does show up in there, make it so it kind of logs that. Little things like that would help. Egg, says Steffi, or egg. Egg. Yeah. We're being eggheads today. Did I have another egg in a box? Oh my god, so many. There's my eggs box. And the surprise trade is finished, but first the egg is hatching. I've decided this will be the shiny one. That's how it's going to be. This will be it. I've decided. Actually, I changed my mind. I think it won't be. I hope the picture quality is okay. I've set this stream to low latency, so it's a lot closer to me doing things to you seeing it, rather than a normal kind of 30-second normal latency delay. Hopefully it hasn't impacted the image quality too much. I mean, maybe it has. Maybe it's like super compressed, but hopefully not. Hopefully it looks okay. Sounds like Lena's having a nice time down south anyway, which is good. Back on a different subject. Do I have a space? Yes, there's one. Yeah, any Pokemon game I do tend to end up just doing a lot of breeding in the end. Like, once I've gone through the storyline, I'm not a competitive sort of player. I just want A, to fill the Pokédex, and B, to get a bunch of shinies. And that's basically my my process. It doesn't get much more complicated than that. Give me your egg. You'd think she'd get bored just standing out there all day. Breeding's pretty fun. It's kind of mindless. It's nice to actually kind of be doing it on stream where I can chat a little bit and get a bit of feedback and a bit of two-way to occupy my mind a little bit, because it can send you a little bit funny just hunting shinies on your own and hatching eggs and the repetitiveness of it. Is the game worth getting a Switch Lite for? Is the Pokédex hard to complete? It depends. If you really, really like Pokemon, perhaps it's worth getting a Switch Lite for. It doesn't really... If you've played Sun and Moon, there's nothing here which will make you say, wow. It doesn't do anything excitingly new. It kind of like the Dynamax thing basically feels like a short-lived Mega Evolution. The wild area is kind of cool. The raids are fun, but I wouldn't say it was a game seller. As for the trading, the online trading system sucks. Unless you're literally talking to someone either online on a chat room or something, or you've got them there in the room with you, it's almost impossible to get what you want out of a trade when you want one. You can't just go onto a GTS, because there is no GTS on this one. You can't just upload a starter and say, please send me Pokemon X or Pokemon Y or Pokemon Z, because you can't, basically. So it can be very hard and frustrating, unless you know someone who can connect and send you the specifics. Like, to complete my Pokedex just now, I've had Eddie round earlier, where I did a bunch of trade evolutions with him in person. Then I did a legendary doggo swap with Merlin, swapping my legendary doggo for his legendary doggo and straight back again. And then I had Andreas on, and he let me borrow a few of his things and then trade them straight back. And in the end, that let me finish my Pokedex. It was a little bit frustrating, to be honest. It would be very nice if they'd kept the GTS, because then you would just be able to ask for what you want. But no, you can't do that. You do need to... It's very old school in that you have to... Well, you have to know people if you want to actually complete your Pokedex. Either that, or you have to have 2 Switches, have each game on each Switch, play through them, and then trade them yourself. And let's face it, buying 2 Switches is not realistic for your average person, unless you're absolutely freaking loaded. I mean, if you can justify buying 2 Switches, then sure, but you'd have to be a bit of an obsessive to do that, I think. Skipped on Sun and Moon, so the improvements are probably a bit more noticeable. Yeah, I mean, if you haven't played Sun and Moon, then this will do things which you don't expect. Little things that improve the quality of life. Like, here I am in the middle of nowhere. I can go into my menu, look at my Pokemon, and if I say, you know what, I don't want this team, I can literally just press a trigger, and it sends you to your boxes, and then you can change your team up. So you don't have to go all the way back to a Pokemon Center to change your team, which is really nice. Lots of little quality of life improvements that are good, but then there's also weird things that are missing that old games had. Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you them, but there's things missing. Breeding's a lot easier than it used to be. Although getting a Japanese Ditto, again, I had to ask on the DTT Twitter if anyone had a Japanese Ditto, because there was no way to actually just ask for one. You can't even just put up a thing saying Ditto for Ditto. Like, if you and a friend both bought a Switch and one and the other version of Pokemon Sword and Shield, and you played together and you were in the same room together, between you, you'd be able to finish the Pokedex fairly easily if you've got a couple of hours to spend doing trade evolutions and what have you. you don't actually get your cover art legendary until the post game, so you will already be the champion by the time you actually get to do that, which is interesting. And the Pokédex being cut down is a thing. There's give or take 300 of the old Pokemon in this game, and then there's give or take 100 new ones. Some of those old ones include Sun and Moon ones, to be fair, so if you didn't play Sun and Moon, then to you it will look like there's more new ones, unless you've been watching the anime and you're familiar with them. Yeah. Someone sent me a Sizzlypede, the cute little bacon man. Everyone likes a bacon bug. Does this bug you? Oh. Right, I've only got 2 eggs at the moment. My Ditto needs to get more horny. There we go. Just as one of my things hatches. As long as it has some cool ones from Sinnoh. What's from Sinnoh in this game? Lucario and Riolu? I think those were from Sinnoh, were they? I think they're Gen 4. I'll have a look in a second. Let's have a look through the Pokédex and see what Gen 4 is. A Nuzlocke on Sword, that would be cool. I mean, when Home comes out and I can transfer my Pokédex over safely, then I wouldn't mind doing like a Nuzlocke on here if I like wiped the save and started a new one. Let's just jump into the finished Pokédex and we'll start it off and we'll have a look. Let's have a look at what the Sinnoh's in. There's no Luxray, unfortunately. Shinx is one of my absolute favourite Pokemon of all time. On Black 2, I spent about probably 30 hours breeding for a shiny Shinx, and I finally got one, and that was really rewarding. But unfortunately, it's not in this game, so I can't bring my shiny Luxray in, and that's really sad. Let's see, Caterpie and Metapod, Grubbin, Dubby, Rookidee, Pidove, is that generation? No, that's black and white, isn't it? Zigzagoon's generation 3, Lotad's generation 3, Seedot generation 3, I think, Purloin's generation 5, Bunnelby, no, Minccino, that's black and white, Bounsweet and Steenie, I think those are all from Sun and Moon or Kalos or something. Gen 1, Baju. Roselia? Was Roselia Gen 4? Or was... I think Roselia's Gen 5 and Roserade's Gen 4, perhaps. If I'm remembering right. That's Gen 3. Joltik and Ganvangelo are Gen 5. That's Gen 3. Vanillish, Gen 5. Gen 3, 5. Snorunt. Is that Generation 4? I think it might be, but I'm not sure. No, it's Gen 3 again, isn't it? Nicket's very cute. You know, I'm looking through this, and I'm seeing quite a lot of no Generation 4 shows right now. I think Snova and Obama Snow, they're from Gen 4, I think. Corfish and Crawdaunt, I think those were from Hoenn. Hitmontop, Pancham, Klinklang. Bronzor and Bronzong, is that Gen 4? Yeah, they're Gen 4, surely. Gallade. Stunky and Skuntank. I think those might be Gen 4, Sinnoh. Manectrix Gen 3, but yeah, it's a nice one. Palpitoad's Gen 5. Duskull's Gen 3, I think. There's a lot of Generation 3 and there's a lot of Generation 5. Feebas and Milotic, those are Gen 3. Gen 5, Gen 5, Gen 5, Gen 5 or 6. They're new, that's the Meowth. Ferroseed and Ferrothorn, those... Are those Gen 5 though? I think they're Gen 5 again, aren't they? I think. Might be wrong, but I think they are. Are the remakes confirmed? Yeah, I don't think they've been literally confirmed, but I think they're as good as. I think the fact that there's really not a lot of Sinnoh stuff in this game, looking down this list, I'm kind of amazed at how few there are. Krogunk, I think, was Gen 4, right? Pretty sure he was. Yeah, it looks like Gen 4's mostly absent from this game. There's a lot of Gen 5. A fair bit of Gen 1 and Gen 3. There's not a huge amount of Johto, actually. I know Johto only had about 100 new ones, but there's very few Johto. Sneasel's a Johto, I think. Riolu and Lucario, those are Sinnoh, I think. Yeah, looking at this, the fact that there's not a lot of Gen 4 in here almost confirms to me that that one will be on its way very soon, because it seems to be the generation with the least amount of representation looking down here. Gen 5 might be the one with the most representation. There's a fair bit from Sun and Moon, but probably not even half of the actual Sun and Moon decks is in here either. Yeah. I liked Sinnoh. My only problem with Sinnoh at the time was that it was very reliant on HM slaves. And that is something I would like to see them fix. I think the HM slave situation was fixed quite well in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. If they handled it similarly, or even let you kind of have it like just take out the way they do it and do it a different way, basically. Maybe have rideable Pokemon that let you do the things. Make it so they're not HMs. Because it was very much like, oh, you needed something with Rock Climb and something with Surf and something with Rock Smash or whatever it was, and Dive and Waterfall, and you ended up having like 2 or 3 Pokemon like spread out with HMs just to navigate the overworld in Sinnoh, and that was a little bit annoying, I thought. I think it was pretty recognised that it became a problem in that generation. Platinum, though, was a really nice version. The original Diamond and Pearl, when you first played them, were fine, and then you realise they're a bit slow. And then you go into Platinum and it's all sped up so much. Like, that had a huge amount of quality of life improvements. I almost wonder if they should make Pokemon Crown as a third version of this, and just spend a year making a single better version of this game, while they've got the other team working on the next gen Pokemon. I'd be happy to play this game a third time if they really improved it and filled in a lot of the missing gaps. Yeah, Sinnoh had a good kind of integration for its story and stuff. That was always good. And to be honest, actually, having HM slaves wouldn't be such a big deal if you can just go into your box the same way you can on here. If they keep that, then your HM slave will always be on standby, but doesn't need to be in your battle party until you need it. So, by having it accessible that easily, then having HM slaves wouldn't be a big deal. So I hope they keep that open your box anywhere thing. There are a lot of things in this game which would just generally improve past games. As a Pokemon experience, it's fine. I mean, I go to save the game and it says I've got 90.5 hours on the clock. If it was a bad game, it wouldn't have 90 hours on it. Let's put it that way. But if it was a better game, I wouldn't complain. It's not the best. It's not the worst. It's... Let's call it a Oh, there's a shiny! Yes! We got the shiny! Shiny, 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 shiny! Woo! Can I get a woo in the comments? We got the shiny! Let's record the video of that. Woo! We did it! We got the shiny! The shiny Hatenna! My first shiny of the generation! Yeah! If you haven't clicked like on the video, now is the time to do so. Because we has... Which one is it? Not that one. Not that one. There she is. The shiny! Yay! The stats aren't particularly amazing yet, but let's see. Doesn't have any ribbons. Quiet by nature. Stubborn. I don't know what any of that stuff means. Nice. We got it. If I just click there, it's got good stats, so it's not a battler, but it's a shiny. We did it. We got the shiny. So what we can do now is go over here. Ding. The first shiny of the generation on my game. Yay. Yay, yay, yay. I'm going to just go into there one more and do a dink. Capture taken. That's going on Twitter. We did it. We got the shiny. We did it. Hashtag fam. We got the goal. We did the shiny. You saw it live on stream. So, next up, we need to decide what we're going to shiny hunt next. Let's just take this egg. And I'm going to take the Hatenna out of the daycare. Because I've got what I wanted from that. So let's take that back. I might end up calling it there for the stream. It looks good and that's enough, yeah. Do you know what? I might actually just pump it full of candies and evolve it. Do you guys want to see it evolve? Do you want to see its fully evolved form? Or do you want to take the Ditto too? No. Let's just have a quick doodle. Let's take this guy out and put that in there. Let's just add it back to the party a second. I'm going to evolve it. Shiny Ponytail would be very, very tempting. And Ponytail being a version exclusive is a good thing to send out as well. Yeah, let's evolve it then. Okay. This won't take long because from raids I've got all this experience candy. So let's give it 5 large candies. That should get it to maybe level 20 something. Level 34. Wow, okay. I'm sure. That was a bit more than I expected. Aromatherapy. What does aromatherapy do? It's heals all status conditions on the user's party. That might be useful if I use it as a raid Pokemon. Life Dew. In fact, that plus Life Dew would be really good if I used it in raids. It might be a good support if I use it as like a supporter for raid battles. Didn't candy level up give worse stats? It probably does, but then this game also has like IV improvement ways, like there's candies and stuff you can give them to improve their stats. And yeah, I'm not too bothered, to be honest, about that. I'm pretty sure that by not doing, by not basically fighting, it's not gaining the kind of invisible values or whatever it is that makes the stats go massive. But I'm not going to use this as competitive battler. Its stats aren't huge anyway. Oh, it's so cute. It's special. And it wants to learn Brutal Wing. That's a fighting move, right? Dark 60 and it hits everybody. That's not a good look. Oh, it's so cute. Animal battling with doping and pumping your partners full of drugs. Absolutely. That's basically how it should be. Let's give it 2 XL candies. That'll be enough to get it to whatever it needs to evolve again, I'm sure. Calm Mind? Nah. I mean... Ooh, Psychic's worth having though. That way it's got healing moves and attacking moves. And it would be pretty handy as a supporter for raids where it can hit, but it can also heal. This is my favourite form of it, to be honest. The fully evolved form is a little bit... it's not as cute, but it still looks kind of cool. It sort of reminds me of Bean's stepmom from Disenchantment. If that makes sense. Oh, it's so pretty though. Oh, I missed with the timing on the screenshot there. Psycho Cut. What's Psycho Cut? It's got better special attacks. I don't really want a physical psychic move. No, okay, that's it. Yeah! We did it, folks. So, there we go. You know what? I think with the successful shiny hunt under our belts, I'm going to put her back in the computer for now. Let's leave a new Pokemon into the daycare. We'll hatch a couple of eggs and then I will go to bed. It looks strange. It does look strange, but I think it's quite cool as well. I do like it. So let's jump into here. She can go into the shiny box. Let's have a look through the box of randoms. I mean, I do have a Ponyta right there. What do we think, folks? Shall I go for the Ponyta next? 2 fairies in a row. Or do we go for something else? Let's see, there's Ponyta. I could go for a shiny Honedge. That could be quite cool. Or Litwick. I do love Litwick. I could go for a shiny Litwick. I could go for a shiny Snom. The Fox. You want me to go for the shiny Fox? Let's find an English one or something. Nickit level 3. The shiny one of this guy. His shiny form is grey, so he's like a grey fox. We could hunt the fox. I don't know why I'm putting it in the party. So cute. A shiny starter. I would like to get a shiny starter of some kind. I don't know which one I'd particularly like, but let's leave Nickit. Ding. One of the things about the daycare in this new one since Sun and Moon is the daycare doesn't level the Pokemon up. They do not gain experience points while they're in daycare. That's something they did change. So now you can leave them there and they won't level up, so you can kind of do it in your own time. But that's why you've got the candy for. Let's do a couple of eggs for the fox and then I will go to bed because it'll be nearly midnight anyway. So did I save it? I'm sure I did, but I need to update my league card now. I've got a shiny as well. Here's the first Nickit egg. Wouldn't it be hilarious if like the first one we hatched was a shiny? I'm so happy that we got the shiny on stream. That is really cool, and it was kind of just as I was winding down anyway. That's so cool. Yeah, I'm happy. Happy to have it shiny. These are fox eggs, because obviously foxes are hatched from eggs. What else? How else would foxes come into the world? You know? I can't imagine any other way a fox would exist. It's definitely how science works. And that's what they look like when they're not shiny, in case we'd forgotten. We'll do a couple of fox eggs, and then we'll go to bed, I think. Successful stream. Success. Add to your party. That'll swap out for that one there. If we get a shiny fox, that'd be amazing. I don't think we'll get one tonight, but who knows. Never say never, except the fact I said it twice just there. Whoop whoop. Just hatch these last few eggs. It'd be really funny if there was another shiny one of them in these last couple of eggs as well. That'd be so funny. Stranger things have happened. Like I say, literally any one of them could be shiny. All of the shiny cloud fairy thingy's going to end up as soup. I kind of wish you could transfer Pokemon for candy like you can in... That hatched quickly. Like you can on the Let's Go games. So you just, if you've got excess stuff, you could just transfer them all, get candy for that particular Pokemon to make that Pokemon better. Increase its stats, that'd be nice. But you can't just trade Pokemon for candy on this one. Poke candy. Wow. That Nickit egg hatched really quick, that one didn't even like have time to finish. So obviously Nickit eggs don't take as long to hatch as the Hattenet eggs do. Oh, he's so cute. Look at his little boots. Oh, his front feet are actually boots. Oh, he's so cute. What the fucks? So yeah. We caught our first shiny of the generation. I'm so happy. That's how we do it. Aww. Nickit is available in both versions, and he's available in pretty much the first patches of grass that you can go into. He's literally on like Route 1. So no complaints there. If you really were dedicated, you could shiny hunt Nickit before you've even been to the first Pokemon Center. If you really wanted to, and then take it through the game. It would require a little bit of dedication, but people have done it. People have like shiny hunted on Route 1 really early on before they've done anything else, just to have a shiny Pokemon to go through the game with. And if you've got the patience for it, why not? Go for it. Can you use wild Pokemon, or are the ones you breed kind of viable? To be honest, I've gone through the entire game using just ones caught. I don't breed for stats. I don't know if the ones I've bred since... I didn't really do that much breeding until the post-game anyway. I guess if you wanted to really do well in the Battle Tower in the post-game, then you could get into the breeding to make ones that were more viable. But for just the main storyline, you don't need to have breeded Pokemon at all. Anything that you catch will be more than adequate to get through the game itself. Unless you're planning on doing a lot of online link battles and stuff, I wouldn't worry. And there's ways to send your Pokemon off on jobs as well in the Pokemon Center in order to to improve their stats as well. You can kind of get them to increase their IVs and EVs and whatever it is. I'll show you. I'm going back to a Pokemon Center anyway, so if I just go over here and over here, there's the Pokemon Center. So you can send Pokemon out on Poke Jobs, basically. Oh, some people have come back from a job apparently. Who did I send out on a job? Some ice Pokemon. These guys came back from their job. Bob's your uncle. Oh, nice. That's a lot of experience. What else? I received a revive. Cool. Yeah, there's the always recruiting ones. HP Seminar, Attack Seminar, Defense, Special Attack. You can send things off and it'll increase their base points, which I think is the hidden stats as far as I know. So if you've got something that's not great but you want to make it a bit better, you can send it off on these jobs and the next day they'll come back a bit better than they were. Let's just go into the card maker. I think getting my first shiny and having the shiny charm earns me a new thingy. So let's say that's a new background. Let's have that. Do I get any new things here? No. Can't really see these against that background really. I like the darker backgrounds. Let's go back to the Mushroom Forest one. Bit of a lens flare, perhaps. I like that frame. I don't want a different frame. Pose, I'm going to go for... Shame there's not like a V for victory sort of pose, but I could do that. Pathetic. Never looking down. That one looks so awkward. I quite like that actually. Let's change the face. Let's have the shiny hunter face. The faces are fun. What do I like? What do I like face-wise? I don't know what I want. I might go for that. Or that. I'll go with that face. That's fine. Just move me over this way a bit. It's a bit too zoomed in. I wish it had shard hollow. I'll go with hearty foils. The faces are pretty great. There's a lot of really fun poses. I wonder if you can unlock more poses on like the battle tower. It's possible that you can. So now if we look at my card, there's me, and on the back shiny Pokemon found 3 because it's the same one but it evolved. So there we go. We did it. We did it. We got the thing. So what I might do tomorrow is I might do a bit of a stream with trying to find the shiny fox. It could happen, right? It could happen. Who knows? It could also not happen. But we got quite lucky with the Hatene. We got a shiny. I'm super happy to have that. I could also just do a bunch of wonder trades on stream and a chat and a wonder trade. that we've got so many things that we can actually trade. I wonder if she's got another egg. Let's just go and see if there's one more egg for us. Shall we hatch a couple more? What time is it? Let's do just a couple more. Here's the shiny. A JoJo pose set. See, they could actually do pose sets and faces and stuff as microtransactions, and I swear people would buy them. They would absolutely buy them. I'm not saying I like microtransactions at all, but if there were some really cool poses, I'd be very tempted if they were like 79p each or something, or 99 cents. It'd be so tempting to go for some funny ones. I kind of want like the anime laugh where they have the hand in front of the mouth, like the oh 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 sort of kind of laugh. That'd be a fun pose. Like an or like a you are already dead pose, pointing down at the camera. That'd be a fun one. Yeah, we'll just do a couple more eggs, assuming we've got any to hatch left in the party. There's one egg there. And then we'll call it, because it's getting pretty late, as in it's literally the middle of the night, in the most literal sense. So... spinning round in circles. Breeding all the eggs. Oh, she's got another one. James. Oh, James. Were you here earlier? We got the shiny. We got a shiny. I don't know if you saw. If you didn't see, jump back. And at some point, someone put in the chat about roughly what time it was we caught the shiny, because I can't remember. Yeah, we got a shiny, but I'm going to bed in a minute because I'm dying. But the old stickers you put on Pokeballs were fun. You just joined. Well, I'm going to bed in a minute. I'm just going to hatch a couple more eggs. Let me show you what shiny it was, since I'm here. Boop, 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 boop. There was a clue just then on the screen very quickly. It's this one. It was its original form, and then I evolved it twice, so that was my first shiny of the generation. So there we go. I wonder which kind of shiny animation it was. Was it squares or stars? Because there's two different shiny animations. Actually, now that I've thought about it, let's just pop her into the party for a second. And I did the wrong thing there. Let's go boop, boop. Well, I'm thinking about it. Let's see if she's got stars or squares. Stars. So she's not one of the super rare ones. That's fine. Yeah, I just literally need to sleep. I'll try and do some more shiny hunting tomorrow. Tomorrow we will be hunting for the shiny fox Nickit, and I've just accidentally leveled a bunch of them up to level 8. If they start asking me to overwrite moves, that's going to be annoying. Shut up. But yes, thanks. Oh God, thanks for tuning in anyway, James. I know that the timing worked out a little bit awkwardly, but it's amazing to see you anyway. You're my favourite hash brown friend. Definitely my hash brownie best friend. Ooh, another egg. I'll hatch one more then. I'll hatch one more. That can go into the party. Let's just swap it back for Hatcharini. Let's make sure things are going into the right boxes. She is in the shiny box. If I jump all the way back to there, let's move these nickets out. We'll hatch one more egg and then I'm down. I'm done then. I'm too knackered. As they say on this game, I'm cream crackered. I like the fact they actually use the phrase cream crackered on this game. It's the closest a Pokemon game is ever going to say to something to do with bollocks. Yeah. Fox. It'd be amazing if we got a shiny fox to end the stream on. That would be absolutely crazy. Unlikely, but not impossible. One more egg. Just the one more. Oh, my Ditto's gone extra horny. Here we go. Whether this is a shiny or not, I'm going to bed after this. Riding in a circle hatches eggs. It still counts as steps, and that's how it kind of decides on whether like something's about to hatch or not. It just counts the steps. I've always done it like that, just riding in circles. That's how I've always done it, really. There we go, done. It wasn't a shiny yet, but we got a shiny Hatena. Can't complain about that. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. We've got the shiny. Please leave a like on the video if you haven't already. And I will see you all in the next stream. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I love you. Bye, internet people.